Call to order the meeting of the Philadelphia City Commissioners Board of Elections for Wednesday, May 1st, 2024. This meeting is in compliance under the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act. The Philadelphia City Commissioners are a three-member, bipartisan board of elected officials in charge of elections and voter registrations for the County of Philadelphia. Each commissioner is elected to serve a four-year term that coincides with the municipal election cycle for mayor and city council. The commissioners set and enforce departmental policies to administer voter registration and conduct elections in accordance with federal and state voter registration and election laws. The city commissioners were created by the Pennsylvania Assembly in 1711 with a focus on taxation and held various regulatory powers throughout the centuries. The commissioners started maintaining voter lists in 1799 and took on more election-related responsibilities, but didn't emerge in its current form until the adoption of Philadelphia Home Rule Charter in 1951. We will start off with public comments. Before beginning their comments, commenters shall state where they live or if they are not a resident of Philadelphia and that they are a Philadelphia taxpayer. Public comment is not an opportunity for dialogue or Q&A. It is public comment, a chance for you to tell us what you think. Each speaker will have 2 minutes to speak. However, I may extend the time at my discretion. Public comment must concern matters on today's meeting agenda. Finally, slanderous, discriminatory, or personal attacks will not be tolerated. If you wish to make a public objection to the perceived sunshine violation, please raise your hand and I will recognize you. Outbursts will not be tolerated. Anyone wishing to offer public comment, please step forward. Hearing no public comment, we will now move to a report from Secretary Bluestein for email public comments. Secretary Bluestein, are there email public comments?
There were no public comments emailed by 9:45 a.m.
Thank you. We will now proceed to old business. We have a report from our Directors of Election Administration and Operation, which will be reported by Joseph Lynch and Stephanie Reid.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We're just working on finalizing the primary election. It's coming to an end and gearing up for the November election. Looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to working with all three commissioners' offices and their staffs. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Likewise, we're looking forward to working with all of you and your staffs. And I just want to say again a deep thank you to all of you and to all of our staff who have been working tirelessly for the last, honestly, now 4 or 5 weeks. Having the opportunity to stand out there with them and do some of these tasks, they really, truly are the heroes of democracy. So just want to be sure that they know how much we appreciate them.
Thank you. Vice Chair Deeley, did you have any questions?
I do not.
Secretary Bluestein, did you have any questions?
I have none.
We will now move to the next agenda item. Mail ballot sufficiency determination is made by our Supervisor of Elections, Dana Eckroade.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning, Dana.
So we're going to start with missing signature for the mail-in ballot sufficiency determination for the 2024 general primary. So for a missing signature, we had 701 ballots returned.
I'm sorry, can you say that number again?
701.
Okay, sure.
Mr. Chairman, I have a few questions for Dana.
Sure.
Dana, it's my understanding that this category includes the blank ballots, for example, ballots neither signed nor dated, that were previously reported as its own separate category, not just those missing only a signature. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
I believe that in the 2023 general, this would have been about 142 ballots, and in the primary, it would have been about 114 ballots. Does that sound correct?
That is correct.
So we saw about a 5-time increase in voters not signing their ballots.
That's correct.
Thank you, Dana.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, brief. No, thank you.
Vice Chair Deeley, something that you wanted to?
Nothing further.
Okay.
Okay, so ballots not enclosed in secrecy envelope, we had 555.
All right, so for each category, Dana, we're going to do a motion for each one, and we're going to vote on each category.
Okay.
Okay?
Do you want me to start over?
All right, just hold tight. You got it. Secretary Bluestein, did you want to ask Dana a question on that topic?
I have no questions for this topic. Thank you.
Okay. A motion that this board does not accept ballots with a missing signature. Is there a second?
Mr.
Second.
Chairman,
Hold on, Vice Chair. You want to make a comment before we vote on this?
yeah, I have a brief remark on the motion, please.
Sure.
I know that much was made about the redesign of the envelopes, and the new design has done a tremendous job addressing the missing date category. But I think we need to take another look at the signature line, because we cannot have these kind of numbers of voters whose vote is set aside for failing to sign their ballot. If nothing is done, this category will be in the thousands in November. That's when we will see a much higher demand of the mail ballots. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I vote yes. I vote.
Okay. All right. So the motion was on the floor. It was seconded by Secretary Bluestein. And now we're going to go to vote. Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
Aye.
I vote aye. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. Okay, Dana, you can go to the next category.
Ballots not enclosed in secrecy envelope, 555.
Vice Chair Deeley, did you want to make a comment on this one?
I do not. Thank you.
Secretary Bluestein, did you want to make a comment on this?
I do not.
Okay. I motion that this board does not accept ballots that are not enclosed in a secrecy envelope. Is there a second?
Second.
Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
I vote aye.
I vote aye. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. Diana, we can move to the next category.
Missing date, 164.
Okay. Vice Chair Deeley, you have to make a comment on this motion?
I have no questions for Dana, but I do have a remark on the motion once you're ready.
That's fine. Want me to comment? Good. Vice Chair Deeley, you can comment.
Thank you. I have long maintained that whether or not the voter writes a date on the envelope, it is not material in determining whether or not such individual is qualified under state law to vote in such election. However, this has been the subject of a multi-year federal legal battle, which we were a party advancing this argument. Yesterday, the Third Circuit issued an order denying our petition for rehearing. I still believe we were correct and that the court erred, but with the recent Third Circuit opinion and the makeup of the Supreme Court, we appear to be towards the end of our battles in court. The only avenue left is for the legislature to finally fix this, put partisanship aside, and do what is best for the voters. Once again, I would like to applaud the redesign of the envelope for dramatically reducing this category. Previously, this was our largest category, with 1,944 in last year's general and 1,539 in the primary. Thank you.
Secretary Bluestein, do you want to make a comment?
I would just add that I completely agree with Commissioner Deeley, and unfortunately, this category shouldn't even be a problem because the dates are not important for whether a ballot should or should not be counted, but we'll have to move forward with the court decisions we have. Thank you.
I motion that this board does not accept ballots with a missing date. Is there a second?
Second.
Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
I vote aye.
I vote aye. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. Then let's move to the next topic.
Incorrectly dated, 309.
Okay. Vice Chair Deeley, you want to say something about this motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have remarks on the motion. While the redesign of the ballot did a great job in addressing the not dated ballots, I think we are falling short with this category. We had 385 in last year's general when we counted 84,735 mail ballots, and 257 in the primary when we counted 72,858 ballots. This election, we are at 309, but only counting 68,317 mail ballots. So our number is about the same with less ballots. My observation has been that people do not always know the correct number for each month. They would write a 3 or a 5 for April instead of a 4, which would put their ballot outside of the date range. I would like the staff to consider removing the boxes for the month so that voters would have the option to write out the month and, like other counties, pre-filling in the year. Thank you.
Secretary Bluestein, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, thank you.
So I motion that this board does not accept ballots that were incorrectly dated. Is there a second?
Second.
Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
We'll go to the next topic, Dana.
Date damaged by the post office. We have 3. This is ballot 1. That's the second ballot. And the third ballot.
Vice Chair Deeley, did you make a comment on this?
I do not, Mr. Chairman.
Secretary Bluestein, did you want to say something?
I do not.
Okay. I mean, like a motion that this board accept ballots with dates that were determined to have been damaged by the post office. Is there a second?
Second.
Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
I vote aye.
I vote aye. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. Okay. Dan, you want to go to the next topic?
ID verification, no social security number or driver's license on short file. We have 4.
Okay. Vice Chair Deeley, did you want to make a comment on this motion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I have a question for Dana. Dana, these voters received our ID verification letters and they responded by filling out the form that we sent them or contacting us in another way, correct?
Correct.
So these voters, it would be impossible to verify using the form. They would have to send us a copy of their photo ID, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. Nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Secretary Bluestein?
Question for Dana. Did the voters' numbers that they provided fail the initial HAVA check?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, quick comment before we have a motion. I'll just say that for these categories, I rely on section 3146.8 of the election code, where it says, in part, if an elector fails to provide proof of identification that can be verified by the County Board of Elections by the 6th calendar day following the election, then the absentee ballot or mail-in ballot shall not be counted. Notwithstanding the provisions of this section, a qualified absentee elector shall not be required to provide proof of identification if the elector is entitled to vote by an alternative ballot under the Voting Accessibility for the Elderly and Handicapped Act. So my question on this is, have we looked into whether the voters in this category and the next category meet the criteria under the Voting Accessibility for the Elderly and Handicapped Act? And if there are any ballots in this category that do not meet that criteria?
So we do, the majority of these voters are over the age of 65,
But are all of them?
all except 1.
So I would just suggest from my own perspective that we should only be counting the ballots that meet that criteria and not the one ballot that doesn't.
So I motion that this board accepts ballots with no social security or driver's license or shore file. Is there a second?
Second.
Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
I vote aye.
I vote nay. Chairman Sabir.
I vote aye. And you want to go to the next topic?
ID verification, ID provided opposite of what is on the shore file. We have 6.
Sure. Vice Chair Deeley?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have a question for Dana.
Sure.
These voters received our ID verification letters, and they responded by filling out the form that we sent them or contacting us in another way, correct?
Correct.
And they provided the opposite of what we needed, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
Secretary Bluestein?
I have no comments. Thank you, sir.
So I motion that this board accepts ballots in which the voter provided information that was opposite of what is on shore file. Is there a second?
Second.
Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
I vote aye.
I vote nay. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. Danny, you want to go to the next topic?
ID verification, no response, 229.
Okay. Vice Chair Daly, did you have any comment on this one?
I do not, thank you.
Secretary Bluestein, do you have any comment on this one?
I have none.
I motion that the board does not accept ballots where the voter ID did not respond to the request from the County Board of Elections for ID verification. Is there a second? Second. Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
I vote aye.
I vote aye. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. Dana, you want to go to the next topic?
Correctly dated in date blanks, signed front of declaration envelope. We have 11. So you'll see the voter dated the declaration, however, it does have a signed signature on the return label on the other side. That's all 11.
That's all of them? Okay, Vice Chair Daly, did you want to make a comment?
I do not, thank you.
Secretary Bluestein?
I have none.
I motion that the board accepts ballots where the voter signed the declaration envelope in the incorrect location but properly dated the envelope. Is there a second? Second. Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
I vote aye.
I vote aye. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. Dan, you want to move to the next topic?
Signed and dated front of declaration envelope 2. So they signed and dated in the return label, not on the front.
Gotcha. Vice Chair Dillon?
I have nothing, no comment. Thank you.
Sure. Secretary Bluestein?
I have none.
I motion that this board accepts ballots where the voter signed and date the front of the declaration envelope. Is there a second?
Second.
Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley. I vote aye. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. So Dana, is there any for this last category?
Yes, we received one right before the deadline. So we have one ID verification. ID doesn't match the Shore file.
Okay. Vice Chair Deeley? Secretary Bluestein?
I have nothing.
A motion that this board does not accept ballots in which the voter submitted information that does not match the Shore file. Is there a second?
Second.
Secretary Bluestein, please call the roll.
Vice Chair Deeley.
I vote aye.
I vote aye. Chairman Sabir.
Aye. Thank you, Dana, for all the hard work that you and your staff do each election. I see you up here, I see you at 142, I see you getting busy. And I appreciate you and your staff. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will now move to the other business portion of our agenda. Vice Chair Deeley, do you have any other business to be raised at this meeting?
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to offer a suggestion for the staff with regard to these last few categories where the voter incorrectly filled out their envelope by signing the return envelope, the return address or whatever. If we could reach out to them and just get some feedback from them to see why, you know, did they find that the instructions were unclear, or did they, you know, they didn't read it, or, you know, it would be interesting to know if they could tell us, you know, why they did make that mistake. And then it would also be good for us to let them know that going forward that they did, however, make, you know, they should have signed it on the back. That, and Dana, I echo what the chairman said. Thank you for an outstanding job, as always, you and your staff.
Secretary Bluestein, do you have any other business to be raised at this meeting?
I have none.
Thank you, Commissioners.